The landscape has changed. It's a completely coagulated era of corporate zeitgeist control, and that's it. But within that landscape, I have emerged from my training as strongest otaku of the West. And I'm going to tell you now the plan. How we can take back all the territory and change the entire landscape into an otaku dominant one. First, the difference between the otaku that will emerge victorious and the sort of pseudo otaku anime fans, whatever, that have existed up to this point. The difference is the fundamental difference, they stop somewhere. They go, okay, I will incorporate this much of otaku-ness into my life, into my identity. I am this passionate about anime. I stop there. The standards in the West were and are just abysmal in this regard. Yes, they have been getting better. Like, people over time, they want to see the truth. They'd rather, they get more used to what otaku values are. They get more used to seeing what a faker looks like, what someone who's a pretender. But it's been baby steps. There's no actual leadership to set things exactly as they are. So it's really just chickens running around with their heads cut off and sometimes inching towards the exit of the maze. So what we need is the ability to create and understand deeply media in general. We need to understand it on a very technical level. And then furthermore, we need to understand otaku media. So the current media creation scene is just flooded with a very certain type of self-centered individual. These are people who are obviously not otaku, very concerned with their own egos, their own kind of degenerate subcultures. Maybe they're just trying to push out some LGBT type thing, or maybe there's some irony weebs out there. There's famous games like Valhalla. That's basically just an irony weeb game. And that should tell you something, because that something like that is famous. It obviously goes without saying. DDLC. The infamous DDLC, and it's just, that is the scene. That is all we have. Yes, the the select elites of gaijin in Asia have become otaku media creators, but that's still a small thing, and the West is just absolutely barren. So first thing is that there's some groundwork for who is actually eligible to become a great otaku creator. First thing, claiming passion is meaningless. Some of the absolute most pathetic people on the planet I've ever met have claimed maximum passion. During my training, I've met a lot of people. I've met people who wanted to train with me or claim they wanted to and stuff. And I met one dude who literally thought he was royalty or something, and he claimed he is maximally passionate about art. One of the most pathetic people I've ever seen. That's just one case of many. There's a dime a dozen. This isn't for people who are trying to improve themselves, no self-improvement, kind of weird, incel, like, status maxing kind of thing. None of that. This isn't for people who have a shitty life and want to suddenly make their lives good, and so they're on this manic idea that maybe you're going to become. None of that. I'll make a whole video about all the not going to make it traits. What we need is people who are going to say, yes, no matter what is my situation career-wise, financially, whatever, I am going to commit myself to the creation of otaku media, to the skill required to reach the level of skill, that professional standard, exactly as we see in Japan. The people who say, yes, no matter what, I am going to spend every single available minute pushing myself towards that professional standard, and then once I'm there, creating the media. That's all we need. Just people who can say that. And if you can't say that, if you have productivity issues, any of that shit, you're out of the running. Out of the running completely. So, basically, the biggest problem is that no one knows how to make otaku media in the West. You might say that the best part of making otaku media is that Westerners don't know how. And that's because the techniques are all esoteric. Any existing advice in the West about how to create media, that will all steer you wrong. Like, you will not get anywhere typing in how to make art or whatever on YouTube or whatever, Google, whatever. You're not going to get... It's actually funny because the Western art advice actually won't even let you make cringe art. It won't even let you make Western art, let alone based in otaku art. It's just not going to happen. It's not good advice from any standpoint, let alone from an otaku one. So, the correct way to draw and write, both of those are incredibly unintuitive to Westerners. It basically is going to feel wrong because of years and years of conditioning, just subconscious conditioning, exposure, just general natural fear response. If you're in an environment where everyone is doing one thing, it doesn't matter how big your balls are, you're gonna feel a little bit scared by doing the thing that the pack's not doing. It's just how it works. So all this stuff in place, it's not that weird that we don't have the scene yet, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. We just need someone to crack the whole thing open, that being me. So the other problem, the second problem, probably second worst problem we're facing, is just the fact that people in the West, they are attached to what they already have and what they already see. And this is at such a deep level that most people don't even realize the extent to which this is true. They want to believe that what they've seen, what they've experienced, what they've come to just inherently value, they want to believe that has meaning. They want to find meaning in that. And they want to put that in their media. And that's not going to be otaku media. And that's the thing. The experiences we have as Westerners, those could get funneled into otaku media and produce a result that is significant, but it can't be by actually holding on to these things and valuing them. You have to let go of all that identity. You have to completely forego the things that you're currently attached to, and you have to closely, fundamentally examine otaku media and understand exactly what the otaku values in it are. And this is not different than the struggle that otaku themselves originally in Japan faced. Over the decades, otaku themselves had to let go of their bindings to normie shit and, non-otaku culture, and they had to develop techniques that allow their media to express its own value system separate from normies and all that shit. And you have to be able to understand which techniques they develop that express this the best. And I'll make tons and tons of videos and stuff explaining all of that. So the big pattern that you're going to see is that even if a Westerner goes, oh, I want to make otaku media, it's going to be a set of compromises. It's going to be one compromise after another. First, it's going to be, oh, well, I'm going to be gravitated towards the type of otaku media that is going to be safer to create. It's going to be, say you want to write, you're going to pick a style of writing or a type of creator as your biggest influence who's already too influenced by Western media to provide a quality model for you as a break-off point. And that's not saying there's anything wrong with that person. Like, if you have Geno Nobuchi, for example, who's very influenced by the West and stuff, as most of those guys writing action and stuff are to this day. They consume a lot of Western media. It influences them. It's actually to their credit that they're able to consume those things and incorporate them and still come out on top in terms of the otaku value and aesthetic coming through. But the thing is, you're not them, and you never will be. You will never close that gap. You will never be able to go, oh, I can handle that responsibility of adopting the Western stuff and then creating an otaku thing out of it. That's not going to happen. That might be capable. You might be capable of that if you can first just throw everything away and just master. But we're talking like maybe 20 years of you already having gone after the core of otaku expression. It's just not going to happen. So that is why we need to be writing in Japanese. The writing, the actual literature, the actual creations have to be in Japanese. And you might be thinking, well, that's weird then. We're just creating Japanese media. How does that create a Western scene? Because you would, well, first of all, just by being a Westerner, you're affecting the entire, people will hear, oh, a Westerner is able to make Japanese media. That changes everything. Second thing is, we will translate these into English as well, but you're going to have to follow. I'm going to develop a whole set of Otaglish guidelines. This is how you translate to retain the original spirit, the quality and the cultural aspect, how to best retain those. I'm going to create a whole set of guidelines for that and stuff, and we're going to be developing that over the months, and I'll gradually show you that as I show what I'm doing with my own projects and stuff. So basically, there are two ways in which gaijin creators can have a huge effect on the world. There's basically two avenues right now, two major platforms. One is the art scene, and that's going to be, your big illustration scene, and then the other is this kind of new thing that's been getting bigger and bigger in recent years, which is sort of like the celebrity gaijin animator. So if you can become excellent at drawing anime art, then you can become a celebrity gaijin animator. And you can actually animate for anime right from your home, not in Japan. And that is something I would like to see seats being filled by extremely based in otaku people who become extremely skilled at anime, because at the moment the gaijin celebrity animators aren't exactly the most based in otaku people going around. I'm not going to get into names right now and stuff, but it's not a scene where we got that cultural thing going. It's at best, it's kind of like an irony weeb passive aggressive thing. That's really the best I'm seeing, and it's only goes downhill from there. So that's a platform to fill ASAP. Second one is actually the video game market, the indie game market, and that's because that is a market in which it is easy to have huge influence if the product is quality enough. And it's perfect for very story-heavy games, very like VN-like storytelling, very dense stuff. And if we can get like a multiple teams together of Western creators, the extremely high quality, based in otaku, Japanese writing with the Otaku translation, the extremely high quality, pure, refined Japanese art. Put that together with some crazy good, music, and you can create some serious damage. Just make a great game. You can make some serious damage. You could, who knows how many, you can get into the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even if it really goes off. As more irony weeb game like Valhalla and whatnot did, we can replicate that success and beyond, but with something based in otaku that's actually going to change the landscape. So, because of the current zeitgeist, there is an intense push against the idea of any of these creators rising up, and no one is actually going to support these things being created. And that's why we need our own pundits. We need people who get skilled, who go on a platform like YouTube and stuff to push what is right, to actually state, like, here is how, just doing exactly what I'm going to be doing, like taking works, analyzing them, explaining what based art is, explaining what based writing is, based in otaku writing, getting that information out there, because right now it's just going to be Joey Anime Man and his friends guiding people in the most just degenerate direction possible. And then in the game scene, you have Toby Fox as just the emperor of it, trickling down just disgusting degeneracy in the whole thing, and making everyone in that scene value the most vile creations that are very explicitly anti-otaku. And then we got things like Western YouTubers, which are just naturally going to be, as long as that's the zeitgeist, as long as those are the people ruling, well, Western YouTubers are just going to be an extension of that kind of irony weavery and stuff at best. So to tip the scale, we need to create a Western movement of creators. You need to choose either writing, art, or music, and you need to go absolutely insane with it. You need to take it to the farthest level that you can possibly take it, and through that you'll team up with others and change the landscape. So, my specialty, literature. I'm going to explain everything about writing. And I'm going to explain everything about learning Japanese. And I'm going to explain everything about writing in Japanese. And this is going to take some time. This will be gradual, but I will explain absolutely everything. If people can follow everything I say, take all my advice, there will emerge new based in otaku writers who can write in Japanese, can do everything correct. And these people will be human atom bombs that can just lay waste to the landscape and build it new with based in otaku visions. So, the art side of things, it's not my specialty, but I do know enough that I can teach you all the basics of how to think about it, what is the relationship to have with it, what is the optimal ways of practicing, what are the best resources to look at, all that stuff. I'm not going to give away all the technical analysis secrets yet, but you don't need them. You just need to know what to do and how to think about it. And that will set things in motion there, and we'll keep going at that side of things at a later date. So for now, I'm just going to leave you with just a little bit of hint of what I'm working on. It's a project that, upon completion, may in fact single-handedly dethrone the emperor of indie games himself and create a new landscape. You'll see more of this soon. You'll keep gradually seeing more of this, but just know that this is something absolutely catastrophic for the enemy. From there, you can join my Discord server if you dare, but you will probably get filtered at the vetting room because you are probably not powerful enough to enter it, but you can try. You can try to enter it. From there, yes, just follow me on Twitter and make sure that you. I'm gonna be typing up some little based in otaku nuggets of wisdom and stuff. Make sure check those out. I'll be regularly putting those out, whether people see them or not. And that's it. So, the new otaku era is here. You just have to participate in it.